Investigate West examined public USDA inspection reports to understand how OHSU's animal research practices compared to other institutions that operate primate research centers. The Southwest National Primate Research Center, operated by Texas Biomedical Research, came closest to matching OHSU in its frequency of noncompliance with the Animal Welfare Act. It racked up 30 violations in the past 8 years. The University of California, Davis, meanwhile, came in second to OHSU in terms of critical or direct violations. It had 2 fewer, with 13. B. Taylor Bennett, Senior Scientific Advisor for the National Association for Biomedical Research, which advocates for ethical and essential animal research, said the numbers may only tell part of the story, however. For example, the data on violations alone don't show which issues the facility has worked to mitigate or improve. Those are noted in the reports, however. When you're dealing with non-human primates, it's a challenge, Bennett said. A stable group can ignite for reasons nobody can predict. Some of those citations are clearly instances where they could improve their methodology, but some are just these things that happen. At the Oregon National Primate Research Center, each potential violation of the Animal Welfare Act is investigated by the university's Research Integrity Office. That office reports to the Institutional Animal Care and Use Committee, a federally mandated standing committee. The USDA inspectors note any violations that happen between inspections in their reports. Strategies to fix health and safety issues must be recorded with the National Institutes of Health's Office of Laboratory Animal Welfare. OHSU also must report every violation to ALALIC International. While human error and the unpredictable behavior of undomesticated animals are impossible to completely eliminate, we strive to do everything in our power to employ best practices in engineering, training, and supervision to protect against them, OHSU's statement read. Other primate research centers also were slapped with fines in 2022. The University of Washington paid $3,700 for several primate escapes that resulted in deaths and amputations. The University of Wisconsin-Madison, meanwhile, agreed to pay $74,000, in part for repeated incidents where primates managed to escape from their cages and injure each other. Animal welfare groups are quick to point out that even the largest of the fines imposed by the USDA are minuscule compared to the primate center's budgets. For example, the budget at OHSU's facility this year is $60 million. A $40,000 fine is just part of the cost of doing business, Budke said. It was the high-profile deaths of the 2 macaques in the August 2020 cage-washing incident that piqued Gomberg's interest in the Primate Research Center. Early in 2021, he asked the Oregon Secretary of State's office to probe the center, but said he was told that an audit wasn't possible because it receives no state funding. So he sought records instead, requesting in July 2021 all of OHSU's documentation related to Earthquake and Whimsy, the 2 macaques that had perished. The university took 17 months to provide records, Gomberg said, and charged his office $1,000 to provide them. Gomberg said he intends for HB 2904 to increase transparency. The goal of the legislation is to simply make public information that has not been particularly public in the past, he said. I think this is a very reasonable step, to simply say, we're going to report on our activities. Bennett, who has 54 years of experience in biomedical research, expressed doubt that the bill might lead to improvements. I don't know what forcing an institution to report to another entity is going to do in terms of animal welfare, he said. Gomberg said he especially wants taxpayers to have a better understanding of what researchers are studying at the center with public funds and how animals are being cared for. That's why his bill includes requirements to report the number of animals that died both as a part of and outside of the research itself. We have more violations, particularly more critical violations, than any other facility in the country, Gomberg said. This is the key point I continue to make. which is that reasonable people can disagree on whether using animals for research is ethical and necessary, but we have to agree we're not doing it very well in Oregon.